good morning, good morning, good morning to all my Gwinnetians out there in Gwinnett land and all of you around the world listening to the sound of my voice. It's a beautiful day here in Gwinnett County. It is going to rain all freaking weekend. It's going to rain right through to next Wednesday. I'm not happy about that, y'all. I am not happy about that at all, but there's nothing I can do about it. Nothing I can do about it. So what can I say? What can I say? Anyway, it's a beautiful day to be alive. That's all I can say. A great day. I was in the studio yesterday. I was in the, we got a podcast studio. Most of the time y'all see me, I'm in this house, right? I'm in my home studio. We got a studio. We got a podcast studio that I can actually go in and work out a Rodecaster Pro, Rode microphone, the whole nine. And I'm going to be doing that probably pretty soon. But I'm so used to being in my own studio in my house. So it's like hard for me to leave the house. It's crazy. I know. When the pandemic hit, I was leaving every morning at 8 o'clock. I had a studio. I had just opened my studio, had just launched everything. I had a ribbon cutting ceremony, all of that stuff. So I had just launched. So every morning I would leave the house at 8 o'clock so I can get to the studio by 8:30, set up everything. So by 10 o'clock, I'm ready to rock. Well, when the pandemic hit, I was so used to working out of the house. I still have a studio with the partner, and I was there yesterday, and it's so nice because it's a real studio. Like, you see no books in the background. You see, no printers in the background. You see none of that stuff. You just see studio. You see microphones set up for 4 people. You see the walls are like soundproof, and you see the logos on the wall. And it's just crazy because I just love being in my home studio. But anyway, I just want to share up with you guys. Hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful Thursday. Y'all know today is my Friday. I know some of you is just saying, so what, Audrey? However, listen, today is my Friday, but tomorrow I will be giving a workshop for the Atlanta Black Chamber to talking about podcasting, of course. Y'all know I love podcasting. I think this is a great space to be in. If you're trying to push your brand, if you're trying to build your brand, if you're trying to make yourself an expert, set yourself up to be an expert, seen as an expert in your space, if you're trying to market your business, I love podcasting. It is one of the ultimate ways for you to get your information out there. If you are a woman and you want to start a podcast and you just don't know where to start, go to podchicksuniversity.com. That's PODCHIX University.com, podchicksuniversity.com. I have a class starting soon. And this is going to walk you through the steps you need to do to set your podcast up. And then there's a part 2 to the class, but you can't do part 2 until you do part 1. Can't do part 2 until you do part 1. And I have someone right now going through part 1, and they won't be ready to do part 2 because you have to do part 1 first because you have to have content. And so if you're trying to grow your brand, if you're trying to build expert status in your space, the way to build expert status before was to write a book, right? You write a book, now you're seen as an expert because you're an author. And I'm not saying that way it still doesn't work, because it does. But can you put a book with a podcast and a video channel, and now you're doing your thing. And that's what a lot of people are doing. Like, I'm an author already, and that's how I pretty much monetize my platform, through my book sales from Amazon. Because I send people back to my website, and over on my website they can get books, t-shirts, or they can the advertising space, or they can get consultations. And so, I love what I do, and it allows me to do what I do by pushing traffic to my website and saying, hey, support this show. And when people support the show, I keep going. But what does that do for me as a business owner? It helps me build brand awareness for what I do. Good Morning Gwinnett is syndicated around the world. We're pretty much on every platform you could think of, including Amazon, Fire TV, Roku, Android TV on the Noise Network, Android TVs on the Noise Network. So we're everywhere that you can pretty much consume content, and that's a good thing. And I did that intentionally. And so right now, if you're thinking about starting a podcast, you don't need a full-blown studio. Like my setup right here is pretty darn nice. I have a ring light, I have a camera, I have a monitor, I have a microphone, and I have a computer. That's what I have right now. And at the studio, in the real studio, we have Rode mics, we have Rodecaster Pros, we have ring lights, we have computers. It's a different setup. But I said that to say you can start from home. So I love being home. I love getting up every morning and doing. So it's hard for me to leave right now. So if you're thinking about starting a podcast and you're saying, you know what, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I have the time. I don't know any of those things. Go to Politics University. It's not only is it a training, it's a community. So you become a part of the community once you become enrolled in one of the classes. If you already have a podcast, you say, you know what, I got my podcast. I'm ready to level up. I want to know how to create a mobile app for it, and I don't need to know how to code. I want to be able to create an Amazon TV channel for it, and I don't need to know how to do that either, because I'm going to teach you all the things that I've done to put my podcast on all of these platforms. And so this is a great opportunity for you to learn what I've done to do that. So take a chance on yourself, make an investment in your business, join Politics University. All right, that's my commercial for the show. Let's get on with the show. Today is Thursday, September the 16th. It's also National Play-Doh Day. Yep, I said it, Play-Doh. You want to feel like a kid today? Get some Play-Doh. It's National Cinnamon Raisin Bread. Now listen, y'all know how I feel about cooked up fruit. I won't eat that. You may love it, I won't eat it, because it has the raisins cooked up in it. Now, I'll eat raisins by themselves and I'll eat bread by themselves. Cooked together, can't do it. National Guacamole Day, yes, I love me some good guacamole. My husband makes the best guacamole. He really does. Like, when he make guacamole, I get me some potato, what you call those things? Tortillas? Like the tortillas, right? Like the nacho things. But they got a sweet potato kind. Oh my God. And some guac. Oh my, so good. National Step Family Day, National Working Parents Day, National Mayflower Day, and National Pawpaw Day. I guess that means grandfather. Pawpaw. National Pawpaw. That sounds so country. National Pawpaw Day. I can't hardly even say that. National Pawpaw Day. Listen, guys, I got a guest for you today, so you want to stick around for the show. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and get into these horoscopes brought to you by noted astrologer Michael Thompson for today, Thursday, September the 16th. Gonna kick it up like we always do, and that is with Aries. Children will keep you busy. A lot has changed, and so have you. You may have taken a little too much, but you will enjoy every minute of it. You overindulge, but you're gonna have a good time. I don't know what you're doing, Aries, but you're gonna have a good time. A lot has changed, and so have you. Sometimes change is good, and good for you. Taurus, deception is apparent. Don't hesitate to voice your opinion when it comes to matters pertaining to work. You are best to be accommodating for the time being. Sudden, romantic infatuations won't be lasting. That's why they're called infatuations, because infatuations don't last. 9 times out of 10, you're infatuated with somebody, but where they look, what they say, how they move, that junk don't last. I'm just trying to save you some time and heartache. It doesn't last. Gemini, someone you care about may not be too pleased with you. Travel if it's needed to start the ball rolling. Cultural activities open your eyes to new ways of doing things. Yeah, cultural activities open up your eyes to new ways of doing things. Sometimes you need a new perspective on some things. So if you have the opportunity to be culturally empowered today, Gemini, it's going to open your eyes to some new things. Yeah, that sounds cute, right? Culturally empowered. I like that. That sounds really nice. I ain't going to do nothing with it. I'm just saying I like it. Y'all know I come up with these ideas sometimes. Cancer, you can make career moves that will be prosperous. Uncertainty about your relationship is prevalent. Ooh, lack of cash may be partly to blame for the problems at home. You're going to make some career moves. They're going to be prosperous. You need those because the lack of cash is a problem at home, and it's causing problems in your relationship. So uncertainty about your relationships is prevalent, but it could be because you got a lack of cash. But don't sweat it, because career moves could be prosperous. Leo, don't go hog wild when it comes to entertainment, or you could find yourself short on funds at the end of the month. Yes, too much month at the end of too much month at the end of the money. Yes, you don't want to be that person. Get more involved in group efforts at work. You can't always have your way. Don't be so spoiled, Leo. You can't always have your way. You can't. Sometimes you just got to fall back. You can't always have your way. Virgo, think twice before you say something you might regret later. Yep, because once it comes out your mouth, you can't take it back. You may want to get involved in financial investments presented to you. Take the time to sort out your personal papers and double check your financial investments. Listen, you may want to get involved in some investments, Virgo, but here's the thing. Make sure before you do that, you understand exactly what you're doing. Make sure of that. Make sure read the fine print, and if you don't know what you're reading, consult a professional. Consult a professional is always important if you don't know what you're reading, don't understand. Because the worst thing in the world is to be signing off on something you don't have a clue about. All right, listen, I'm going to go to a song. I'll be right back after the song to give you more of the horoscopes brought to you by Noted Astrologer Micah Thyssen. Stay tuned.
Stay with me, if only for a moment, only for a while.
Welcome back. I gotta tell y'all something. So that's a new song. Like I added some new songs to the playlist, right? And when I first heard the first part of this song, I was like, "Oh, that sounds nice." But as I was listening to like the rest, I'm like, "I don't think I like that one." Like, and I picked my own songs, by the way, and I was like, "Oh, I don't really think I like that song too much." I really didn't like that one all that much. I don't know. It was something about the last part of it. I don't know. Anyway. Welcome back. I'm your girl, Audrey Bell Kearney, giving you the daily horoscopes brought to you by Noted Astrologer Micah Thyssen. I'm going to pick it up with Libra. You can accomplish a lot if you direct your thoughts towards starting your own small business on the side. If you put your energy into physical outlets, you could avoid confrontations. Opposition is present and you should be prepared to counteract it as best you can. All right, now. Opportunities are present. Now listen, y'all know how I feel about starting a small business. You know how I feel. You know how I feel. You know how I feel. If you're going to start a small business, make sure that it's something that you can be passionate about. Not just any small business. Something that's going to make you want to get up every morning. Now, and be realistic. Talk to a bunch of entrepreneurs. This is what I would tell anybody right now. You know I love podcasting. If you're seriously thinking about starting a business and you know what you want to start a business in, start you a nice little podcast around that particular business. So let's say, for instance, you know that you want to be a life coach, right? Why don't you start a podcast and interview as many life coaches as you can to learn about life coaching from life coaches? And then you decide what type of life coach you want to be, what type of business coach you want to be. You may even decide, I don't want to do this at all. Like if you say, you know what, the podcast about life coaches, I'm just making up something. and you start talking to life coaches, and you find like all these ups and downs that they go through, and they got clients that drop in and drop out, and the money is unstable, and you may say, I don't want to do that. But here's the thing: you have talked to 100 life coaches before you even launched any business at all. That's taking time to research your profession and learning about it. You putting in the time. Let's say, for instance, each one of those interviews are an hour. You have just put in 100 hours on this business that you were thinking about starting. And it doesn't sound like, learning things, but you are learning along the way. So trust me when I tell you, life coaches are a dime a dozen. Business coaches, a dime a dozen. You can find them anywhere. And a lot of times they want to talk to you about what they do. So I would say, if you're thinking about starting a business, do your due diligence. Take some time to learn from those who are doing it. If you're thinking about starting a podcast, interview a bunch of podcasters. Listen, we like to talk. Podcasters like to talk. That's why we podcast. Interview a bunch of them before you start podcasting. Take a class. You may say, well, I don't want to do that. Then take a class. Take a class. Take as many classes as you need to take, because I guarantee you, each one of the instructors in those classes, they're going to tell you something different, because it's from their experience. Like I tell you right now, I do this podcast. I do it on Spreaker, and this is why I do it on Spreaker, right? I say that all the time because my podcast is on Spreaker. But then somebody else said, well, I do it on Buzzsprout, and this is why I do it on Buzzsprout, and I love Buzzsprout. And then somebody said, I do it on Libsyn, and this is why I do it on Blueberry. I do it on Riverside. I do it on Captivate. These are all podcast platforms. But everybody that share what they do is from their own experience. So you want to talk to as many people as you can in that space, Libra, if you're thinking about starting a small business. Y'all know I can talk about that stuff forever. Scorpio. Curb your mood swings. They can result in loneliness. Try to satisfy both of your needs. Communicate with relatives who may need advice in order to find solutions to their existing problems. Yeah, curb your mood swings, Scorpio. I know we all get them. I get them every once in a while. I do. I have them. Not really mood swings. It's just sometimes I'm just something to tick me off, and it's kind of hard for me to bounce back. Like I try to be as positive as I can, but I'm human. So every day is not happy-go-lucky. Some days I'm annoyed. And when I'm annoyed, people know it, because I normally don't talk because I'm annoyed. And it's like pushed down. And it doesn't happen very often, but it does happen sometimes. Sagittarius. Try to convince a good friend to take a holiday with you. Don't jump too quickly if someone tries to make you join on their crusade. You are likely to encounter new partners if you take short trips. Okay. Now, it didn't say what type of partners. It could be business partners. It could be life partners. I don't know. But if you take a short trip, you are likely to encounter new partners. So think about that trip, Sagittarius. You probably need a break anyway. Capricorn. Talk to people who can give you important knowledge. Try not to attempt to do something unless you are fully intent on following through with the plans. Your lover probably won't put up with your behavior. Capricorn, nobody ain't trying to put up with your mess today. Your lover is saying, not today, Cap. Not today, I ain't with it. So you might want to tread lightly, because they're not with it today. Not with it. Aquarius, although it looks promising, be careful not to overextend yourself, or you will lose in the long run. Your emotional partner may make you angry today. Your professional attitude will not go unnoticed. All right, so your lover, your partner, they're going to piss you off. It's how you handle it. It's how you handle it, Aquarius. At the end of the day, it's how you handle the situation. That's what's going to happen. So even if they piss you off, do like me. I go to a quiet place. I don't say much of anything, because I have to go to my quiet place. When I go to my quiet place, it gives me time to reflect and review and reset. Because if I come out if I start out if I'm pissed off and I start talking when I'm pissed off, it's not gonna be good. So you might want to get to that quiet place, Aquarius. Think things through first. Just do it, because they're gonna make you angry. Yeah, but it's how you act. Last but not least, my fellow fish, Pisces. Money-making ventures may turn your life around. I hope that's in a good way, fish. Your partner may blame you for everything. You may be more emotional than usual. Okay, I don't know. Well, listen, fish. Here's the thing. Money making ventures may turn your life around. They're gonna turn our life around in a great way. Like money making ventures right now, the money is. Listen, we're gonna do this affirmation. Money is flowing to me in abundance, in an easy and relaxed manner, in a healthy and positive way for the highest good of all. Let me say it again for you, fish. I'm going to say it one more time. Money is flowing to me in abundance, in an easy and relaxed manner, in a healthy and positive way for the highest good of all. Y'all see I say that all the time, right? They just roll off my tongue. But anyway, so money-making ventures is going to turn your life around today. That's a good thing because we're only the good money-making ventures. That's all we're embracing. Your partner's gonna blame you for everything. Listen, as long as you know what you've done is right, they can't blame you for anything. They can open their mouths, and so here's the thing: don't even let them upset you, because you know, and they know deep down inside, they know you're not to blame. It's them, and they want to blame you for everything because they screwed up. But deep down inside, they know it's them, and you know the truth. You know it's them. So don't even let them upset you like that. You're gonna be more emotional than usual. Have no idea what that means. I don't know if you're going to be whining and crying, fish. I don't plan on doing either. But here's the thing. If it happens, it happens. All right? All right, so listen, I got a guest coming on at 10:30. So let's move on. So that's all the horoscopes I got for you today. I'll be back again on Monday to bring you more of the horoscopes brought to you by noted astrologer Micah Thyssen. Now, while I wait for my guest, let me just share some stuff with you guys. Every morning I get on a meetup. They call it the morning meetup. I call it the morning mastermind. It's about 500 entrepreneurs 5 days a week on this mastermind. No lie, y'all. It's about 5. When I first started about a month ago, it was 369. Now it's about 500. That is a lot of people, entrepreneurs. And these are all entrepreneurs. Or some of them may want to be entrepreneurs, but most of them are entrepreneurs. And they get on there. We have a book club. We're reading Outliers right now by Malcolm Gladwell. We read Who Not How last month, which was a great book as well. We were at U Square, which was another great book. So it's a book club. So 7:45, we get on there. We talk about the book. We talk about what touched us with the book. That's the first part. Then the second part of the hour, which is around 8:15, they give some housekeeping stuff about what's going on. And then at 8:30, David Shams, who runs the morning meetup, well, maybe about 8:15, he comes on about 8:17. He comes on and he asks questions. And on Thursday is Q&A day. And it's so crazy because I've been podcasting since about 2009. And so when people ask me what I do, I was like, I have a marketing and media agency, but I love podcasting. So we were in like one mastermind like last week before last, we were in a mastermind. We was in a private mastermind. So this was a smaller mastermind with about 169 people, I think, in that mastermind. And with him. And, he was like, I'm a podcaster. And it struck a chord with me because that's what I am. I'm a podcaster, right? And I, even though I own a media and marketing agency, at the core of who I am, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a podcaster. That's what I am. And it clicked like, Audrey, you a podcaster. And that's what I'm known for now, pretty much in the industry as a podcaster. I'm speaking tomorrow for the Atlanta Black Chamber. As a podcaster about podcasting. I'm speaking on Saturday at a virtual conference about podcasting as a podcaster. I'm a podcaster. And I've been speaking on podcasting for the last 3 years. And I've been podcasting since 2009. What's that? Like 12 years? 12 years. I've been podcasting for 12 years, y'all. And so I love this space. And so I said all that to say, sometimes we say all these things about who we are, and at the core of who we are, we kind of nix that off. And the reason I think I kind of nixed off saying I was a podcaster was because I thought people weren't taking podcasting seriously. So even though I loved it and I do it every day, I didn't feel like people was taking it seriously. Now I know people are taking it seriously. I know they are. And so I'm happy to be a podcaster. That's why I'm teaching other people how to be a podcaster. So that being said, if you are a woman and you're thinking about launching a podcast, you have something to say, you want to get your message out. If you are a pastor, if you are a political candidate and you need to get your message out, podcasting is one of the best platforms out there to get your message out. There's a workshop starting this month. Go to Podchix, that's PODCHIX, that's an X, CHIX, university.com, and join me. You become a member of the community, the Podchix community. It's a great community to be a part of. This is my first time really super launching this, so I hope you join me. Listen, it's about you. It's about, even if you're an introvert, even if you think you don't have the time, even if you don't know what you're going to talk about, even if you feel like you're not tech savvy, I'm telling you, when you're going to learn all the things that you can do to make this happen. And you don't have to be any of those things. You don't have to be tech savvy. You don't have to be an extrovert. You don't have to have hours and hours of time to put in it. You don't have to have a ton of money. All of these things that would normally stop you will not. I will show you how they will not stop you when you join Podchicks University. PodchicksUniversity.com. Check it out. All right, I'm going to a song as we wait for our guest. I'll be back after this song to bring you more. Hopefully my guest will be signing on by this, so stay tuned.
I'ma show you how I don't move with my body. Come hit me with your touch, and then make me wanna say, damn. And yeah, you know some, ain't nothing I don't do, I won't do for your body. So give me all you got right now. I know I'm yours, baby. So come give me love. You know you're mine, baby. So come give me love. Skip the beat, yeah. This feeling is getting so strong. Love me some more than let me all night long. There's something special about you. You're the one that I want. So come on, give me love. I'ma show you how I don't move with my body. Come hit me with your touch, and then make me wanna say, damn. And yeah, you know some, ain't nothing that I do, I won't do for your body. Give me all you got right now. I know I'm yours, baby. So come give me love. You know you're mine, baby. So come give me love. I never felt nothing quite like this. I get high every time we kiss. Can't get enough, baby. So come give me love. All of love. Won't you love me some more? Love me in the evening.
Welcome back. It's your girl, Audrey Bird Kearney, giving you the daily. Well, I gave you the daily horoscope, but today I got a guest, so I'm excited about that. I'm always excited to have guests on the show. Before I bring my guest on, I was just reading a news story. This is a crazy news. I know this is going to be a Lifetime movie. So there's a real powerful family in South Carolina by the name of Murdaugh. So this guy was an attorney. They call it, they have a family dynasty. And I was reading the story on CNN because it pops up on my phone. But they had a family dynasty on the coast of South Carolina. And his wife and son got murdered. And then he decided to have himself murdered so that his surviving son could collect on his insurance policy, which was $10 million. But the person that was supposed to kill him shot him, but he didn't die. Oh my God, it sounds like something straight out of Lifetime. So they, oh my God, you got to read the story. Go to CNN, y'all. I found it intriguing. But anyway, let's get on with some good stuff because that's crazy. I stopped watching Lifetime for that reason. I know people love those stories, but I found them to be so gruesome. Like, you just sit back and you just plan out how to kill each other. And, I just couldn't. Anyway, let's get on with some good stuff. So I have a great guest today. I've been waiting to talk to her for a minute now. We have tried to get together and get this podcast running. And, she's doing some amazing things in the children's entertainment space. She's the author of 17 books. Like, who has the time to write 17 books? I can't wait to ask her that question. Like, I cannot wait to ask. She has a TV show that's on Amazon TV. She has these cute, y'all got to see them. You're going to see them in 1 second. But my guest, Lisa Caprelli, is just doing amazing things. And listen, she's done a lot of this stuff right in the midst of a freaking pandemic. And let's bring Lisa on without further ado.
Hi, I came with my animal friends, Unicorn Jazz and Tracy. Thanks, Audrey, for the great opening.
Hey, Lisa. Welcome.
Hi.
So, you're on the West Coast?
Yes, California. I know you're in the Atlanta area, yes?
I'm in Atlanta. So Lisa was supposed to do this. So what happened was, Lisa, when you were supposed to come on last time, I put all your information in the episode, and people just went crazy, and they got there before I could even take it out that you weren't going to be there. And now I know they were like, what happened? So I'm glad that you're here with us this morning.
So excited to be here. And I'm originally from Texas. So I'm a Texas girl by heart. I have lived in Southern California for 20 years, and I'm so grateful because I never saw an ocean until I was 17. I've been here 20 years, and I live in Huntington Beach, and I'm so grateful for every day.
So what part of Texas did you live in before moving to California?
I grew up in El Paso, Texas. It's a borderland. Across is Juarez, Mexico, and I grew up really poor. And then you go to Mexico, and that's really poor. So everything is always perspective. And I often say, how do you know you're poor unless someone tells you? We grew up with a lot of love in my family, and very grateful for all the blessings God has given us.
It's funny you should say that. So I was born in Albany, Georgia, grew up in Newark, New Jersey. And my brother said to me one time, we were older. We had moved on, bought houses and did all that stuff. And he was like, we were poor. And I was like, we weren't poor. And the reason I didn't think we were poor was because we had all of the things that our friends didn't have. My brother thought we were poor because we didn't have a swimming pool.
Oh. That's funny how you get measured.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody in Newark had a swimming pool. So I'm thinking like, well, why nobody? So if you guys have never been to New Jersey, there are 3 family houses, 6 family houses, and people live over the top of you, people live on the bottom of you, people live in the middle, people are everywhere. And so we grew up in a 6 family house. Like my uncle we lived on the 3rd floor on one side. All of our friends lived on the first and second floor under us, and on the other side of that same house, my uncle lived on the 3rd floor on the other side, and all of these people live up under him, and we used to look out the window and talk to each other out the window. So this is Newark growing up, right? But my brother thought we were poor because we didn't have a swimming pool. I, on the other hand, figured, well, we had nice clothes, we had bikes, we had all the things our friends didn't have because it was just 2 of us. We weren't poor. So it's the perspective, I guess. So when you say you were poor, describe what that means, because a lot of people are thinking, well, what does that mean?
Yeah, well, I'm the middle child of 5. My mom raised us a single mom. And my grandmother had just a 3rd grade education. She was forced to drop out of school because her mother passed away. So she had to raise her family. So my sisters and I are the first generation to go to college. Being Hispanic, we are grateful to be born in the United States of America. And we were grateful that we could get an education. We grew up poor. We didn't have a car. We didn't have a TV for years. We would go around on the bus. Just gathering 10 cents to take the bus for us was a blessing. And we walked a lot. We had hand-me-downs. And I mean, poor as can be, you just having 1 pair of socks that we had to wash them in the shower. And sometimes winters we had no hot water. I mean, to this day, I'm so grateful that our utilities are always connected. I'm grateful that God has blessed, me and my family, that we are not, doing that kind of upbringing that we did. And my mom did the best she could at the time. And, my grandparents did help us, and my grandmother, who was so special to me, and I talk about her in a lot of my, give backs and my story. is I often say sometimes it just takes one person to believe in you. Maybe it is a relative, maybe it's a teacher. I did have both. And that's why it's so important to give back and help the younger generations. That's why I've changed my life to immerse myself in unicorn jazz and the children's books and stories I write and the messages that I'm so grateful to share with kids of all ages and adults who are a part of their lives.
So you say your grandmother was such an instrumental part of your life. Talk about that a little bit. Like, what did she do that made you say, you know what, I believe in myself because of her?
Yeah, so I grew up really shy, like my character Unicorn Jazz in this book. And so I often tell kids and adults, it's fun to put your personality into characters. I grew up really shy. I was the shyest kid in the whole classroom, until high school probably. My grandmother did recognize that, skill set in me, and she recognized that I was book smart. My writing was always, celebrated. And when teachers said, write one paragraph, I wrote 3. When they say, write 1 page, I would write 5. And so that was my expression. My only voice was on paper. So being introverted and shy, that was one way for me to develop my communication and voice. My grandmother, when I would get straight A's, because I got straight A's, and that was my way of giving back to her, was she said, get an education, and I believed her. And I would say, look, Grandma, here's my report card. And year after year, it was A's. And I'm very grateful that studying and being book smart was somewhat easy for me. She also took the time to love, there's an unconditional price to love, and love and having eye contact and being kind. And she was a great cook. A lot of Hispanic families do have great cooks in their family. My family and I, when you go around our family, they're always going to be around the kitchen. And so she taught me at an early age that love always wins, no matter what, no matter what your circumstances, to love and to connect and give that feeling that, that you kind of think of as grandma, that those of you that have a grandma give. And she always gave us wisdom and little nuggets of what she believed life is, the meaning of life. And she didn't get to travel much. And so for me, traveling today is so important. I love it. But she was always content with what she had. She focused on the positive, not the negative.
Nice. So you have a Hispanic heritage. You're Hispanic. What part of Latin America are you from? Your family's from?
Yeah, so deep roots in Mexico, Spain. I am 3rd generation Texan. And I just enjoy that we get to be Latina, as you know, diversity and is cool these days. So who knew that was going to happen?
I have a friend. He's a friend and a client, but he's married to a Mexican, and she speaks no Spanish. So anytime we're somewhere, and he's into politics, so anytime we're somewhere and people want to speak Spanish, they look to her and she's like, I can't speak any Spanish. It's hilarious. And I was like, you never. She's like, I don't speak any. And they're from Texas. They live here in Atlanta, in the metro area, but they're from Texas, right, from Houston. And we were somewhere recently, and he's campaigning right now for a state house. And people come up, they see that's his wife, and they expect her to speak Spanish, and she's like, I don't speak any Spanish. It's hilarious every time it happens. So, right. Now you had an amazing career. 25 years, you had an amazing career. What made you decide to shift gears and come out of corporate America and get into, children's TV and children's books and all of those great things?
Yes, thank you, Audrey, for that question. I get asked that all the time. So I was in, 26 plus years in marketing and branding, being an entrepreneur, having my own businesses, and helping them rise to great success. And it was my writing and marketing that did that, the outside the box thinking that, marketing would come from. And about 5 years ago, I started writing and researching to create this book called Skip a Step, Imparting Wisdom for Young Entrepreneur Minds. It comes with the workbook. And it says young entrepreneur minds, even though we can all be young at heart. So adults love this book too. But for me, it was a way to give back to the younger generation. By this time, I'd worked with over 150 CEOs, entrepreneur leaders, and getting to know their stories of what made their idea or service or brand work. And for me, I wish I could have had this book. What steps could I have skipped if I was younger to know that I was designed to be an entrepreneur? Mm-hmm. How do we identify people that have a great idea or vision to encourage them, because I remember I came, what I say, from nothing per se, and there was no entrepreneurs in my family. And I had no one coming to my school saying, you know, you could do whatever you want and all that kind of thing. So in interviewing the 13 different entrepreneurs and leaders, and I'm chapter 13, my story, I wanted to ask them more than what advice they'd give to the younger generation and on business. It was more about what was the meaning of life for them. Mm-hmm. If they could tell their younger self, their 19-year-old self, their 7-year-old self, what advice would they give, right? Chapter 1, I interviewed Michael Gerber, 80 years old. He wrote the Email series, very popular. Mm-hmm. Lots of people know him, and he's just amazing, still speaking and loves sharing. And you know, all these people love what they do. Their purpose is they created a service vision brand, something that helps them give back. It was not, nowhere in here did it say they started a business to make a lot of money. Dean Del Sesto says, money is not the most important part of a business. Relationships are. People are more rewarding than money. I mean, you know, and when I asked Michael Gerber, chapter 1, and we videotaped it because he was really one of my favorite interviews of the many. And at the very last question, I asked him, what is the meaning of life? And instantly he's like, it's to create. You know, God created us to create. And things that I started hearing, the similarities, to have vision, to be kind to others, you know, things that kind of seem common sense if you think about it. And it was at the end of this book that when I published it, that I finally got, you know, Jessica Jackley interview. She was on Oprah. She started a nonprofit and all these different ideas that people started that, you know, out of a vision concept. And by this time I said, well, what is it that I want to do? What is my purpose? What do I want to do where it feels like it's not work? As we hear, if you do what you love, you'll never have to work a day in your life. I always envied, like, who are those people, you know? And so I just took a look at my life. I was in a position where I could do what I wanted and immerse myself with the marketing experience I had. And I didn't know that would help me, by the way, the marketing experience, the branding. I didn't know that would help me catapult Unicorn Jazz. So I wanted to create a book series. I now have 7, including coloring books that we've done.
So nice.
And it just started 2018, so not too long ago. Wow. I started going into schools and speaking to not just one classroom, but the entire school, assembly style, and sharing the stories, sharing about the art, about the imagination, about creating, and sharing some of my story on how I was once shy, and to be in front of them, I often say is the best day of my life, because I get to share how I put the stories together, the art, the ideas, and the why.
Did you do all the artwork yourself? Did you do all of that? Because I see artwork behind you.
No, my cousin, who's from El Paso, Texas, is Davey Villalobos. So his mom, which is my aunt, she was always another important figure in our lives. And so he always was known that he loved to do art. That's the thing he does. And so I came to him and with my vision and ideas of Unicorn Jazz and the big picture 3 years ago, what I wanted to create more than a children's book series. I wanted to create a brand. Things like there's Hello Kitty, there's Mickey Mouse, and now there's Unicorn Jazz. And I knew that I could do it, knowing that it's going to take time, a team, and all the things, because I had done that already for many businesses. And so I'm going into school, selling my books, knowing that going in speaking, sometimes I'm able to get a speaking fee or I waive it if it's a Title I school. And still people want the books, you know, and if you're an author, what do you want to do? You want to sell your books. And so I'm now getting on a city-by-city tour. People are seeing through social media, you know, the positive effects that we're doing with our talks about promoting literacy, writing, imagination, learning, which school doesn't want to promote that? And so then the pandemic hits, you know, in March of 2020. Everything stopped for me, all my tours, as many people changed, you know, their lives with the pandemic. I was one of them. And after about 2 weeks, when I realized this pandemic is going to be something bigger than, you know, the recession, bigger than the aftermath of 9/11, I knew that. And I just said, what can I do? You know, focus on what you can do versus what you can't. And I had a media background. I had done radio shows and all these different things that I was creating. And so I said, I need to create a show. And I tested it and started on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. And I got kids from different parts of the country to send me little video snippets. And that's what the thing I do show is now on Amazon TV. And I directed it. I told them what to do. Thanks, because we all have iPhones pretty much today, many of us. Kids, you and I, Audrey, didn't grow up with Google and YouTube.
Heck no.
These kids have
Heck
so
no.
professional kids like Broadway singers, actors, all these people that had time to lend a little piece of their talent for something that was the greater good, which was bringing happiness to kids, started connecting them with talent agencies, started reaching out, seeing our social media. And, you have to go through the parents before you could work with children. And I would tell the parents of my vision and everything in building the show to bring happiness to kids during this pandemic, which we needed that and onwards. And many of them said, you would never have access to my child because normally they'd be on Broadway, they'd be singing, they'd be auditioning. And I said, yeah, but they do have the time, just like I do. And then we would bring all these people together, community, which we're designed for connection, as we know. And that's how it happened. A lot of it was accidental. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. You said a whole lot, and I got to go back a little bit. First, I want to go to skip the step. Now, I want to talk about that for a second because every morning at 7:45, 8 o'clock, depending on how quick I get dressed, I'm on a mastermind with 500 entrepreneurs Monday through Friday, every morning. If you guys want to get on that mastermind with me, there's a link inside the bio. But it's powerful because we get to talk to each other, we get to talk to the leader, we get to ask questions. It's powerful. This morning, it's so funny that I'm doing this interview this morning. This morning, there were 2 high school students on the mastermind. So the first high school student, she came on, she's 17. She's at school. She's in real estate. So she has a wholesale deal and she needed some investors for this wholesale deal. And so David, who runs the morning, it's called the morning meetup, but I call it a morning mastermind because that's what we do with 500 people every morning. He asked her, he said, "Are you in school right now?" And she was like, "Yeah." So she was in the hallway somewhere trying to get somebody to buy her wholesale real estate deal that was $569,000. It was crazy. Right after her, there's another little boy who comes on and he is trying to find a place because his phone is having like Wi-Fi issues. And he was like, "Are you in school right now?" He was like, "Yes." So he's like trying to walk all over the building. Now he's supposed to be in class. He's in the hallway trying to find a quiet spot with good Wi-Fi so he can ask his question about his clothing brand. I feel like the next generation, I think those are called what do they call? They're not called the Gen Xers. They're called the generation something. I forgot what. That's the entrepreneur. That's the new entrepreneur generation. I don't even think they care too much about school at this point. They just want to make money. So when you talked about skip the step, how have you been able to put that into the hands of children who want to be an entrepreneur or who didn't even think that they could be an entrepreneur until they had access to the skip the step?
Yes, I get to speak to them with, in schools, in middle school, high school, virtual visits or in person. I welcome that. I'd love to do some kind of give back to your group, as well. With Skip a Step, it's meant to be used. And I'll tell you that, when I get interviewed by other podcasters like you doing great work in the world, and they read it cover to cover saying, "I wish I had this as well when I was younger." And it's also an Audible, the book Skip a Step.
Nice.
So it's just so full of wisdom of if you could sit down with, I did a variety of interviews with people so that, the reader could learn that, one, you could do anything if you put your mind to it. Have a team. Don't do what you don't know. I say this, when I had my marketing company and people who never did marketing try to skip steps and save money and do their own marketing, that was one of the biggest mistakes that I saw. I said to them, it's like you trying to be a chiropractor to adjust your own back to save a few $100s. Why would you ever do that? Just go to a chiropractor. So, I learned a lot of different things from these amazing, CEOs and leaders that sometimes they were sacrificing their last, they would put a HELOC, a home equity line of credit on their home to fund their business. And one of my interviews, Mitch Free, he owned a manufacturing company that was a software online business. He partnered with Jeff Bezos.
Wow.
And his life has changed today. By the way, he's in the Atlanta area.
Oh, nice.
He was a great interview because he's one of those people that believed in his vision, believed in an idea. No, he didn't take no for an answer from naysayers, which we get as entrepreneurs. and he put, all his money into building this dream and vision. And he gets he's getting a deal from negotiations from Europe, and then Jeff Bezos. He took the Jeff Bezos deal, and to sit there with people that went through sacrifices. One of our interviews was a company, a husband and wife team that had a infomercial company. They were making, I want to say it was like millions of dollars a week, and she gets cancer. Changes your life, right? So, in life, we're always going to have trials and tribulations. We're always going to have challenges. Said no one ever that we're not. And it's that perseverance and who do you have on your team? The husband and wife, they had each other. They shifted, they changed what they did, and they created something new while she got through her cancer. And there was just story after story, and that I got to witness firsthand, and my mouth would drop because you saw the tenacity of these people, and it makes you think like, I want to be like that too, and not give up, not take no for an answer.
So Lisa, you've interviewed sound like some amazing people, right? You've been in corporate America. How did you make the leap? Because for a lot of people coming out of corporate America, that's scary. Like, they have a steady paycheck. They know they're making 5, 6, 7, 8 figures as in corporate America. But now I want to do something on my own. I want to do something that I'm passionate about for myself. I want to leave a legacy. How did you make that leap, and who was instrumental in you making that leap from corporate business owner to now this amazing fireball of a woman who's going around empowering young people around the world, and adults as well, because I'm sure a lot of adults get a lot of this too.
Oh, yes, all ages. Who knew? I say I'm like Benjamin Button. I start working with adults, then teens, and then children. No, really, it's like kind of interesting. It was along the way. I had a great boss named Cindy Kirkland. I always give her credit in all my stories. When I was early on in the workforce, about age 20, who saw my skill set and believed in me, even though I was still that shy, introverted girl. I would go around the office learning everybody's jobs and tell me what you do and how does it work. Always being curious, thinking like that's what everybody does. Right. And so, you become a key valuable employee if you know the jobs of others and if you're curious. And I always had the best interest of the owner in mind. And, if I saw people in the workplace, stealing, which happens, I would report them. I did the right thing as if I was the owner, what would I want people to do for me? And so Cindy recognized all these, the care and me wanting more, to do more and learn more at a young age. So at a young age, she rose me to director of marketing. I'm still in El Paso, Texas at the time. So I was given a lot of responsibility, and she trained me along the way. She was a lot older than me, and she kind of trained me like things you're going to need to know when you leave here. And she would always say, Lisa, you need to leave El Paso. You need to get out and work in big corporations. You are meant to do more. She often said, I've worked with thousands of people in my life. I've never met anyone like you. Things that are, good affirmations people want to hear. She kept telling me that. So one day I, kind of like my grandmother believed in me. I said, I think she's right. Maybe I am meant for more. And then by the end of my 20s, that's when I just had so much confidence to move out here with nothing but $100 type story.
Wow.
And start my own business, learn from other people. And one thing I've learned is that when you are, I would say at your bottom, if you want to call it, people will help you. That's when you want to get help. So people were kind and helping me, help me with this business, help me with that. I partnered with a mortgage broker who had a skill set, and I said I could help you turn that into a good business. I by this time I worked with different companies and roles and responsibilities of human resources, of bookkeeping, of message writing, of marketing. So that was our first business that did very well. And then when the recession happened in 2009, I really didn't love what I did anymore, even though things bounced back. And by then, people were reaching out to me to do marketing for their business, attorneys, nonprofits, different businesses. And I liked the challenge of it, and it was fun. In a way, it was for me learning with their company what I could do and what I couldn't. And, always having, my name on the line. I often say your name is your calling card, your reputation. If I say I'm going to do something, it's people know I'm going to do it, or I'm going to say I can't, or if I make a mistake, you own it as well. So, I worked with so many different companies. I had to put myself out there networking, and doing the thing that you think you cannot do, because I remember I'm still shy and
Right.
introverted. But I would just force myself to do it, because who else is going to do it, right? Who else is, if you have a company, you have to be willing to go outside of your comfort zone and do more, think more, take on more, lead more, take responsibility more, apologize more when you don't get the mark right, and learning. It's a constant learning field.
So now you say you left El Paso with $100. Did you know anybody in California when you left with $100? So what? $100 is not a lot. So how far? How far were you able to get with $100, and how did you get there?
A lot of it was faith and confidence. I knew I could always go back. Everyone thought it was a mistake, that I shouldn't do it, that I wasn't going to make it. California, is bad, or whatever the naysayers say about California. And I just said, well, how will I know unless I ever try? And I came here, I had roommates, so I was able to have enough to get by. It was really kind of like I had enough for a month, and just would figure out the next few months knowing I could go back. I quickly got work, and and I was doing graphic design back then, and I did odds and ends jobs, and I was able to save money. And again, that's when into the world of entrepreneurship. You can make a lot more being that entrepreneur than for me at the time, being an hourly paid worker, which I had done my whole life. And so I took it seriously, and I, worked a lot, and I saved a lot, as much as I could. And within a year, I had a company that started just booming and doing well. We went on radio ads. We did radio advertising on FM AM stations. I would write the ads. I would study them. Again, I never was in this field. And this was before social media. Before social media, how would you advertise? Radio ads, yellow pages. Some of these kids aren't going to know what that is. And so you adapt to the times. I love social media today. I think it's brilliant that you can put an ad on Facebook or a post on Instagram and create some valuable content. You can test it. You could do an ad for as little as $5. Like, you could never do that on a radio station. Right. And that's what I tell people, to convince them to invest in their marketing.
A lot of people, the word brand and marketing, it's been thrown around so much because of the internet. They're just, everybody's an entrepreneur these days. Like, everybody starts a business. Right. What goes into building a success? You work with like hundreds of CEOs. You talk to many of them for your books. What is a brand first? And what goes into building a solid, successful brand?
So many things. I did write this book called Color Your Message, The Art of Digital Marketing and Social Media, before Skip a Step, because people started saying, business people that didn't grow up with the technologies of social, saying it's going to go away, Twitter, Instagram. And I was like, it's not going to go away. So I realized if I educated, the affluent business owner, the experienced business owner, who often called themselves a business dinosaur when social media became prevalent, I just knew that I wanted my friends to not be like Blockbuster and enter Netflix, right? Mm-hmm. And so what I realized was studying it and teaching people is how you can get people to change. LinkedIn, all these different things. So what happened was I would give this book to different people that were business-minded or with businesses of 20, 30 years, and they would say, I don't want to learn this. I'd rather hire you. So, or hire somebody. So there's so many things, moving pieces to a business. It's not a one-size-all-fits-all approach. However, because social media is so, to me, it's brilliant, is that you use pictures, you use a message, you can use a video. And yes, to get it to more people, you have to promote or boost it. But you have to do that. You could get lucky and try to, grow very slow organically, meaning that you don't have to pay a lot to promote your post. You could do that. Or you could have something so innovative that it gets, newsworthy. That's very rare. Why not take advantage of these tools of social media, leverage them for a budget that you can grow with, And some of the greatest companies I work with, they always had a marketing budget. You don't want to let that marketing budget go. If you think of companies like Coca-Cola, Nike, do they stop advertising?
No, they do not.
Right.
They do not.
Right.
You know, one of the
you
things,
have to be in front of people
all the time, right? And that's one of the things I say. But you know, I think for a lot of people, they get so overwhelmed because there are so many platforms. Like right now, we're streaming live on Spreaker, which is the podcast platform, and they push it out to whoever's in their universe. We're streaming live on Facebook on my two pages, and we're streaming live on Roku. So for me, you have to be everywhere. And then I'll take this later and I'll put it on YouTube, and then I'll put it on my network, which is on Apple TV and Android TV. You know, so it's like for me personally, I look at Coca-Cola, just like you said. I look at, when I first started in media, I started on regular radio, traditional radio, and then I kind of went to TV. And then I just then the internet kind of took off in that space. When I started my first company, HerTube, I looked at Netflix, Lisa, and I was like, okay, I want to be everywhere Netflix is. That was my plan. Because the first TV network I started was called HerTube. I said, I want HerTube to be everywhere Netflix is. And I looked at where they were, and I started doing all the work to make sure that we were everywhere Netflix was. I think a lot of people, they want to build these brands, you know, these national global brands, yes. But I don't think they understand the work that goes into that.
The work.
Have you ever worked with a client that said, you know what, Lisa, I want to build a brand, and then you made a brand plan for them, and they was like, I don't want to do all that.
No, I never have. I'm very convincing in that if you want to grow a business, you need a plan, you need strategy, you need marketing strategy. Very few times have I seen that not happen. I'm sure it does. There's always, a way. If you're a great restaurant and you find you can go word of mouth, you can go, viral in different ways. And I actually have a family in El Paso that did that. They didn't really invest a lot in their marketing. They had a good product. They had good food. They went on Guy Fieri's show, and that today has helped catapult them. So there's an exception to everything. I've never seen that side of it, because by now, even with Unicorn Jazz, I'm still, the marketing leader and strategy outside the box. What are we going to do different to promote what we're doing for, the greater good of children? And so all my life, I've always been the writer, the, marketing, thinking outside the box, going into Facebook groups. You mentioned earlier that you have groups you do, and that's what it takes. And again, it's not for everyone. I have a son who's 30 years old. He actually plays the voice of my puppet.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's a nurse. Yeah, I have a 30-year-old and I have a 16-year-old.
I have a 30-year-old too, but I certainly didn't think you had a 30-year-old.
Yes, my older son, Matthew, he's a nurse, and him and his wife are travel nurses. Matthew has a great acting personality. He plays the voice of Trey Ziki, which is super funny. You all should see it on our Instagram and our show, The Thing I Do, which is on Amazon TV. He's one of everyone's favorite characters. But he's always said, Mom, I don't want to be an entrepreneur. I want to clock in, clock out, and be done. I've seen the amount of work you've done. And he's like, I never want to do that. And I said, that's the thing you do, is you're a nurse, and we need different people in life. Not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur. I'm certainly not saying that. I'm saying that this worked for me. And if you think about it, at some point in your life, you're going to work for someone. You're going to there's leaders and there's followers, and you need people that have great ideas and visions to support the people doing the greater work in the world, as I once did. That's how I learned. I often said, the beauty of being young and working for different companies is you can learn on their company's watch, the successes, the challenges, because every company has rise and falls. Everyone. You could grow too fast in a company and there's going to be, ramifications of that. You can have people that aren't good team players, and that's going to affect your business. So there's many things that you could see when you're observing them, and that's what I did. And so when I had my own companies, not that I've never not had problems, but I have, you're able to understand what are the pieces that are going to make it work. I get to work from home, by the way, and I love it. I've been working at home before the pandemic. I love that I get more done than when I used to go into an office because of the distractions. So I love that, you can connect with people and have planned appointments. We have Zoom, we have technology like we're using today to connect, even though we didn't have to we get on a plane and meet, right? And so, to me, it's taking advantage of the platforms that we do have. You have to be a self-starter. You have to be a go-getter. You have to be self-motivated. Nobody knocks on my door in the morning and says, Lisa, this is what you have to do in the next 30, 60, 90 days. It's asked, you have to have your own perseverance if you want to have your own business. And if you don't want to, then that's not for you. Do what you're supposed to do that's going to make you happy.
It's so funny you say that because I was talking about that earlier. And it's true. Like, you have to find that thing that's going to wake you up in the morning. Lisa, when's your birthday, Lisa?
April 23rd.
So you're Aries. I thought you were Pisces because you sound so much like
I'm Taurus.
A Taurus.
I'm Taurus. I'm on the cusp. Yeah.
You're Taurus. You sound so much like a Pisces. I'm like, she has to be a Pisces. And normally I'm right. Like, normally when people start to talk about themselves, I always nab it like, that person is a Pisces. But you're a Taurus, so we're very much alike in a lot of ways. So I love Unicorn Jazz. I love what you're doing. What were some of the challenges you faced when you got ready to launch to the children? Like Unicorn Jazz, the show on Amazon. What were some of the challenges you faced? Because I know a lot of that stuff.
Many.
Let's talk about some of that.
Time redoing editing of the videos that we would submit for Amazon. They all have to be captioned. I had to learn what software I'm going to use. Yep. I have a children's album now, 9 songs out, and I wrote some of them. Obviously I'm not a singer. That's not the thing I do. I got professional singers or kid actors to sing. And it's really just the timeline and involving different people and stages to create the final product. And so sometimes you have to wait. I guess having patience for me would be always a challenge of my life since I was a little girl. Because I want things to happen and I want people to show up for, do this. And so I learned now you have to have grace. Like I have a book coming out, Help and Give Back, that we aim to have out by Christmas time this year. And I've accepted if it doesn't, we'll have it out by Valentine's. But I really want it out by Christmas time. And my illustrator knows that, let's do it. And it's kind of like, why not? And so you're working towards these goals that you made for yourself. But I think it's good to have goals.
So now I'm looking at the artwork. It looks beautiful. I know that artwork and illustrators and graphic designers and photographers and filmmakers and all of those people are kind of expensive. What kind of budgets did you set? Like, what kind of budget did you have to get, because this is all full color. And some of your books are a lot of pages. So I know being in this space for so long, that's not cheap. So how did you fund these projects and how much did it cost? Look at that. That's beautiful. How much does it cost you to do one book like that?
I don't disclose that info. I get a family discount. My cousin is the illustrator.
Family discount, okay.
But he knows he's part of the brand for a long time.
Okay.
And he going on the journey. We just did a licensing expo just in August, and we have companies interested. And I knew again from the beginning. And licensing pretty much means like if you go to Walmart and you see a T-shirt that has to say Unicorn Jazz. Well, that's licensing. They have to pay royalties, whoever is the retailer, clothing company. So, early on I knew that I wanted to get licensed, and, Unicorn Jazz is trademarked. And the beautiful thing about having books is that's your original copyright. That's your IP, your intellectual property. And that's why companies I say Hello Kitty because people know Hello Kitty, Mickey Mouse, Disney. That's the value in the long-term plan. Baby Einstein started out of a woman's garage with just an $18,000 budget. 5 years later, she's selling it to Disney for what I read was a $24 million. That was her IP, her intellectual property, her copyright and strategy. So I see it slowly happening with partnerships we're building, slowly but surely. And the thing is that my messages in my books don't expire. Like being happy is helping someone learn. Is that going to ever expire in your lifetime? Never. That message? Right. So, watching a beautiful sunset, being happy. So I tend to make books that are timeless in that. Being kind, is that ever going to be something that expires in our life? Right. So for me, it's a way to share wisdom for younger generation. Obviously, children, we love them growing up with them and parents reading to them and the songs that come with the books. and all the characters intertwined that are puppets and plushes and more things that we can create year after year. And what I love is when I go into a school and I see, of course, the books in the library, knowing that they're going to be there year after year. And one day when I pass on this earth, because we all do, that these books are going to be part of children's library. As they grow up, their children's children. I didn't know a lot of that was going to happen, and it could be overwhelming. But I feel very grateful that God blessed me with the gift of writing. That was the basic gift I had.
So when you're getting your books out there, what's your part? Do you have like a process? Say, okay, I'm going to write this book. I'm going to reach out to. Are your books published by a publisher, or are you self-publishing everything?
I have a publishing company, so we publish the books. I've helped other people publish and write their books as well.
Okay.
So there's strategy processes. We just had Ocean Animals out again because of the pandemic. We had Aquarium of the Pacific. I'm trying to find it here. Anyways, I have Ocean Animals out, and because I live near the ocean and the ocean makes up 2/3 of our Earth's surface. So that's why the oceans and sea creatures should matter to all of us, and taking care of our oceans. So for me, I can always do another launch of strategy for promoting it as things get more normal amidst the pandemic. Just many varied things. I mean, some schools that, there's a school in El Paso that dolphin is their mascot. So, of course, they like ocean animals. And that could be, a strategy in February.
Mm-hmm. So now I love all the things that you're doing. I love the fact that you're empowering kids. I love this fact that your work is timeless. And you, like you said it. Now, speaking of timeless, because we're going into like these extremely high-tech times, right? We're going into times where everything is digital and crypto and NFTs and all these different things. So I feel like one day books are going to be like one of these rare things that you're like, oh my God, that was what a book looked like. Are you looking towards the future that far when it comes to like making sure that your content really is timeless? Because we watch these movies like God, what is it, like I Am Legend, I think, and all these things that what is it, like 20, like it's so far in the it's so far out, and it seems like it's just the movie, but we're getting closer and closer and closer to like where there's no paper and there's no things like that. Are you thinking that far out as far as your content? I know you said that one of the books is on Audible already. And, audio is one of my things because I'm podcasting 4 days a week. What are you thinking that far out as far as taking your books and turn them into NFT and all these crazy things?
Several of my books are on Audible, including Unicorn Jazz on YouTube. Unicorn Jazz Book 1 with the song is on Amazon TV as a video book story with actors, narrating the story. That we have a show on Amazon TV called The Thing I Do, working to turn it into an animated series, a long process. So, video we know is prevalent and one of the most important, I think, pieces for me, since I've been born, the video technology, YouTube, creating video, now using our phones that have high, capabilities. Mm-hmm. So I'm always, thinking ahead in that way. I mean, future could be, VR, which we see virtual reality, So I love that. I like being a learner of life, which I encourage for everyone. I know until, the day I die, I'm going to get to work with children and adjust to the different technology capacities as best I can, or get a team to help me. But it's a beautiful life. I often say purpose is an incredible alarm clock, and we are all living longer. 10,000 people turn 65 each and every day, and we're going to live longer. Shouldn't you do things that you love, that are worthwhile, that are purposeful, that give back, that are, part of your inherent skill set, or you get a better skill set in something you love?
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right about that. So, like there's a lot of people out there, a lot of companies that create things for children, right? How do you differentiate yourself away from all of the noise in that space? Because there's a lot of noise in that space.
You just continue focusing on what you do. I create more stories. I create things that are relative to what I see. I'm so blessed that I get interviewed with different podcasts daily, and I get to talk about the give back component to what Unicorn Jazz is. We do book drive donations throughout the year. We give books to Children's Hospital, orphanages, and LA Food Bank. And people send in books. I donate books, and children who need books, get them, and I invite communities to send them in. And what's happened is other kids, the Unicorn Jazz kids or kids that follow us on social media, the parents say, you're teaching our children the importance of giving back, of volunteering, which I always did as a young child with my sister. And so I realize now that, giving back is part of my life. And, I'll go into schools and donate some my time with the author visit, story time, and song. I mean, I get to do what I love, and I am donating that. And sometimes they buy books, it's very purposeful, and it's very important to give back. That's why our next book is called Help and Give Back. It's a picture of recycling and helping someone, maybe an older person, connect their Wi-Fi, Habitat for Humanity type drawings with our characters that my illustrator is so amazing, showing through the eyes of animal character art. The only characters that really aren't real are the unicorn and the zebracorn. But how amazing that unicorns are so popular. I picked unicorn for being unique. Unicorn, we're all unique and different in this world. And it's a very celebrated global icon, a unicorn. Mm-hmm. So I did study in that, but I wanted it to have personality. There's all kinds of, there's all kinds of cats, but there's still Hello Kitty. Yeah. There's all kinds of unicorns, but Unicorn Jazz represents diversity, uniqueness, believing in others, kindness, and many positive things in life that we can learn and teach at any age.
I love it. So my granddaughter, I have a 2-year-old granddaughter, and she loves unicorns. She love unicorns. And so my daughter buys her everything unicorns, and she just loves you. She's loved them since she's a little special baby, because she's kind of been almost talking since she was like 9 months. She's been saying little words, but she loves unicorns. And I had to watch her Tuesday night because my daughter had to go get her hair did, and we just had a great time just hanging out, and she was showing me her unicorn. She loved unicorns. I want to say this. About 2 years ago, right around Christmas time, we did something called Christmas in the Park in December. It was freezing, and it was for homeless families, and it was a toy drive, it was a luncheon, and it was a coat drive. And I was so shocked because I live in Gwinnett County, right? And so Gwinnett County is supposed to be one of those prominent counties where, there's no homelessness and things like that. And that's not true. Homelessness is everywhere. And I quickly learned that there were a bunch of people living in extended stay hotels, families. And I was like, I had no idea, but there were a lot of them. So we did this Christmas in the park. We rented out the room in the park, and we were able to do lunch and give a coat drive and do a toy drive. Lisa, and these were families, like some of them were single parents, but these were like 2-parent families. And I was like, I was dumbfounded. And I said all that to say, we're going to do it again this year in December. How do we get on your list for donations for these kids that are going to come out?
Go unicornjazz.com. Follow us on Instagram, on LinkedIn, social media. I'd be happy to connect with you. Okay. We just need people to promote. We're putting together a campaign where you can promote, how to give back. So go to our Amazon wishlist link that directly will get the donations to the children's charities we've identified, and people will see the story, of the donations with the books, with the pictures. Yeah. We're very, cognizant of that. I have Hindi's Libraries, one of our partners who's out there collecting books for kids and for all kinds of partnership. We have a Haiti group. It's an orphanage, and there's about 16 children there, different ages, that would love book donations. So we're putting all this together. It's early on. We encourage and we will stay connected. And we are so grateful that this is just our second annual book donation drive. And we know we're going to get thousands of books. And we're so grateful to give them all away. And I want to say that, when you give to different charities, and there's so many amazing out there, we're not, we don't give an eighth of a book. We give the whole book away.
Right. I think that's so important because I looked at the faces of the family members, and I remember I donated a brand new coat. Like I had a coat, I couldn't wear it, I had never worn it. It was brand new, it was beautiful. And I lost a lot of weight, and I couldn't fit it. It was too big. And then a mother came, and it was so cold that day, Lisa. It was cold. It was rainy. It was in December. And down here, it takes a long time. Probably California probably don't really get hot, cold. But it takes a long time to get cold down in Georgia, right? But it was cold that day, and it was rainy. And I hate being in the rain. And I was like, oh, my God, it's raining. But I went, and I took the coat. And I put the coat on the table, and then some other people came in and donated stuff, and I was doing Good Morning Gwinnett, so I did a live stream from the event so people can kind of see and people could talk about their experience. Yeah, just to watch the mother she had like 3 children and a husband, just to watch her put that coat on and do like this, wrap herself in the coat. Right. It almost brought me to tears because I'm like, right, you just don't think. Like, especially if you live somewhere that's really nice and you just don't think there are people who are really struggling, and people are struggling, and they're not struggling because they're lazy. They're struggling because they hit a rough patch in the road and they're just trying to get back. It makes me emotional. They hit a rough patch in the road and they're just trying to get back on their feet, and so for me being a part of that, it was like, I was like, this is so cool. And then to see the kids, like, it was toys. Like, people donated toys on top of toys and like books. And the kids could just go to the table and just pick out something they want. I think this year, though, when we do it, and we're not a nonprofit, it's just something that we did. Well, it was the candidate who's running for state now. He's just really a good guy. He's from Texas. He just did it. I think this year we're going to wrap everything. We're going to wrap everything and kind of put it out by ages. So if you're a girl or a boy and you're in between the age of this and this, so now they'll know, okay, I'm a girl, I'm 4, I'm going to pick from this table. So I think we're going to wrap everything this year, because year before last, it was just kind of like there. So if you send us books, I will wrap the books, put the ages on them and put them in a group and make sure the kids get them. We'll do a lot of press behind it here in Gwinnett County. We'll take pictures with the kids and send them to you so you'll have them.
Okay. So I'll add you to our leadership team. Perfect.
Okay. Good.
Perfect.
Yes. So, oh my God, this could go on and on. I want you to come back. I want you to come back because I want you to explain the process of how you got the stuffed animals created. I know that's a process. I don't know if Georgette told you or not, but she and I invented the first plus size fashion dolls. It was an idea that I had in my head.
Oh my God, really?
And it was yes, and that's how we got that. I call it our first real business. So we invented the first plus size fashion dolls. Idea came out of my head. We found somebody to draw the idea out of my head on paper. Then we found somebody to take the idea on paper and turn it into clay. Then we found somebody to take the clay and turn it into wax. So I know it's a process. And so I want you to come back.
And if people just want one, we can talk about that. We have an affiliate company. I'd love to talk about our book forthcoming, Help and Give Back, and tying this all in. Thank you for having me on your show, Audrey, and thank you for everyone who's...
Listen, I want you to come back. Because I want to talk more about the process. We didn't get and the listeners love to know like what the process was. And the reason I asked you about the startup funding, because there are a lot of entrepreneurs out there who want to start and they have no idea like what it costs to do all these things. And I know I have a client who did a children's book, and she got hooked up with an illustrator that sent her something, literally, Lisa, drawn out on a piece of lined paper, and she was supposed to take that and turn it into a book cover. And I said to her, so she didn't come to me first, she came to me after it was done. I was like, that is horrible. Who did that for you? And she explained who did it. And I said, no, you got to find another illustrator. So I helped her find another illustrator. So, I want you to come back and talk about the process of building a company, like, from the ground up. But we're out of time now. So tell people about your new book. Tell people how to contact you. And Georgette will be in contact with you to give you my address. So if you want to donate books, you can send them to me, and I'll make sure that they get to the kids, and we take a bunch of pictures.
Well, I always appreciate you. Go to unicornjazz.com. I'm Lisa Capella. You can find me connected on all the social media there for any of my books. My books are on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. I welcome going into your school, your grandchild's school, if you're an educator, especially as things lift with the pandemic. I'm looking forward to a lifelong world tour wherever there are children, and being able to speak in school after school and sharing the importance of helping and giving back, and sharing the importance of reading, writing, imagination, and all of the things we talked about on the show. And I'm so excited to be invited and connect with people. So thank you for listening.
Well, thank you for being here. This has been amazing. Georgette will be in contact with you when we want to bring you back, just to talk about the process, because I know this is not an easy process. And
Yeah.
So did you set a goal to be on a certain? Because I have a goal. My goal is to be on 100 podcasts over the next 12 months. Did you set a goal to be on podcasts?
You know, I'm so grateful. I do a couple a day throughout the week. I do have a publicist. We do get on some media, and my goal is to be on a platform like Good Morning America, Today's Show. And I really feel one day with the great work we're doing and the children involved, I believe it will happen. It's just time. But regardless, commitment to continuing to grow and to reach children of, and audiences, and Unicorn Jazz being a global household name one day is definitely on our radar, and I know it will happen. And it's all the things that we're doing and all the steps and coming together and not giving up. So thank you for having me, Audrey, and I look forward to coming back. We could even do a workshop with some of the things that you talked about if people want to know. There's just so much intricacies to it.
Yeah.
I enjoy helping others, and I thank you for staying connected.
Yeah, let's talk about that. The workshop sounds even better. So I will be in contact soon. We're probably going to do something in the new year, and I will let you know. We'll have a conversation. But thank you so much for taking the time. I know it's kind of early where you are, but I do appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. Can't wait to stay connected.
All right,
Bye.
you too. Have a good weekend. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that show, and I hope you enjoyed Lisa as much as I enjoyed her bringing it with us. Listen, let me tell y'all what I do know for a fact. Whenever you have to release something that's product-based, it's a lot of little tiny things that go in there. It's a lot of things that can happen, especially if you do stuff outside of this country. I've been a business owner for 24 years. I call my invention my first real company because I had to learn so much about how to take a physical product from my head, put it on paper, put it in clay, put it in wax, put it in vinyl, get it back, sell it to the people. It was a process. And so Lisa has a lot. She has a ton of books. She has a ton of stuffed animals that are gorgeous. So I know that's a process. I know it is. And so it's probably going to be a workshop. And so I will let you know more about that as I plan it out, because y'all know I'm busy. I got a lot of stuff going on. But anyway, today is my Friday. Y'all know what today is. Today is my Friday. So I'm going to go to my last song, and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to give you my word of inspiration for the day. I'm going to close out the show. So stay tuned. I'll be right back after this song.
Looking back on the things that we take for granted, but feels like we're running to be better without what's holding us back now. Let's look to new history, find out what we can be together. Take my hand and we'll conquer the world. This is our final chance. 'Cause one day we can make this. We were in a mess together. But we found a way to choose right from wrong. We've got the strength to come together. To come together. Dancing closely together, staying forever young. What about you and I? Can we just find a way to align with each other? Let's look to new history, find out what we can be together. Take my hand and we'll conquer the world. This is our final chance. 'Cause one day we'll be
back. Welcome back. So listen, guys, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed that guest, Lisa Caprelli. She did some amazing things for our children. She wants them to be happy, healthy, have a lot of fun. She wants them to be kind and sweet and giving back, and she's doing the same thing. She's taking all the amazing gifts that God has given her, and she's put them into these amazing products for our children. And trust me, these kids are not playing games. Like, these are the smartest kids I know. My granddaughter is 2 years old, and she is smart. Like, she reads, she knows her colors. Like, I was at her house the other night babysitting, and she knows the color. She knows the orange. She knows the lemon. She knows the bus. I was like, wow, she's 2. But she's been like that since she was like 1. And so they're not playing games. So people like Lisa, who are doing amazing things in this space to help and uplift and empower our children and to educate them and to keep them, make them humble little citizens. I applaud her for all the great work that she's doing. And I know she's going to be on Good Morning, well, she's on Good Morning Gwinnett already. No Good Morning America. I'm not a Good Morning America, not yet. But she's going to be on Good Morning America very soon because of the work she's doing. Thank you all for listening. Before I go, let me give you my words of inspiration for the day. And I heard that this morning, y'all. I heard this on my morning mastermind. Listen, there's a link in the show notes that if you want to get on a podcast 5 days a week on a Zoom 5 days a week with 500 entrepreneurs doing masterminds, check out the link below. This came from David Shands. So David Shands is our leader. He's our fearless leader. This came from him. It said, do all that you can until help comes. Man, let me say it again. Do all that you can until help comes. Here's the thing. Don't sit back and wait for help to come. Keep doing everything that you can. Help will eventually show up, but you got to keep doing everything that you can until help comes. Don't sit down, because the time that you're just sitting waiting, you could be making progress. When David said that, I was like, that's going to be my closing inspiration for the day. I knew it. Because a lot of time people, they are sitting, they're waiting for somebody else to come and rescue them. They're waiting for somebody else to come and pull the trigger on the things that they need to do. No, you keep moving until help comes. Trust me, you keep moving, help will catch up to you. I'm telling you, it's like running a relay race. You keep running, and the relay person with the stick, with the baton, they're going to catch you just in time to give you the baton so you can keep going. You keep moving until help catches up to you. It's going to catch up to you. But if you're sitting still, waiting for it to come, it's going to be like, man, she's not doing nothing. Why am I rushing to get to her? She's not doing anything. You want forward motion. You want forward. You want to keep moving, and let until help comes. Keep moving, keep grinding, keep doing your thing, keep staying focused, keep reading, keep working out, keep doing it until help comes. Help will eventually come. I know it seems like it's never going to come, right? Trust me, I know. Like, help has come to me along the way from different people, different areas. The help that I want, like I really, really, really want, hasn't gotten there yet. It's coming though. I know it is. I heard it was coming. I dreamt about it coming. It's coming. It's gonna come for you too. But you need to keep moving. Keep forward motion going. Keep going. Keep moving. Don't stop. Don't sit and wait. I'ma wait. Somebody's gonna help me. Why isn't any help? Is like looking at you like, well, I'm gonna take my time. You're not doing anything. What am I gonna help you with? That's what help is saying. If you're not doing anything, what can help you with? If you're just kind of sitting and waiting, what is help gonna help you with? That's all I got to say for you today. That's all I got for you. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you spent the last hour and 33 minutes with me and Lisa Caprelli. Be sure to check her out, unicornjazz.com. Be sure to check out all the great things. Check out the book she has on Amazon. Thank you again, Lisa, for being my guest today. It was amazing. I love your work. I love what you're doing, and I can't wait to find out more about how we can work together. Listen, there are people out there who are really homeless, y'all. And a lot of times you probably work with some of them and don't even know it, because it's so quiet kept because they're embarrassed about the situation. The families that I saw in 19 when we did that Christmas in the park, I did not expect to see families. I expected to see single parents. I saw husbands and wives and children, teams, families. They needed help. And so I'm excited to be able to this Christmas wrap up a bunch of gifts and put them under a tree at our next event. I don't know if it's going to be Christmas in the park. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm looking forward to I love wrapping gifts. Like in the house, I'm the gift wrapper. Like people bring all their gifts to me to wrap, which is nuts. And I wrap all of them. But I look forward to wrapping gifts for families this year, because it's been such a rough two years. It's been tough. Like the pandemic kicked off in 19, all of 20, pretty much now it's all of 21. It's just been rough. So a lot of people are still struggling. They still need our help. So the fact that Lisa's willing to donate books to the Good Morning Gwinnett show so I can give out to children around Christmas time, I'm excited about that. So again, Lisa, thank you so much. Thank you all for listening. I will be back again Monday at 10 a.m. God willing. Today is my Friday. I will be speaking tomorrow at on the Atlanta Black Chamber Conference talking about podcasting. So go to Eventbrite. Just type in Atlanta Black Chamber events. It'll pop up. I'm also going to be speaking on Saturday for a conference out in Houston. It's all virtual. I'm not going to Houston. I would like to have gone to Houston. My girl lives in Houston, but I'll be doing this virtually, speaking about podcasting. Yep. So if you miss it Friday, you can catch it on Saturday. Probably a little bit different because the audience is a little bit different, but I'll be speaking there too. Thank you for listening. I'll be back again Monday, God willing. Y'all know what it is. Until next time, my friends, make it a great day. Bye, y'all.
You've been listening to Good Morning Gwinnett. Make sure to tune in Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time to find out what's happening around Gwinnett. If you like this episode, subscribe now and share with your friends. To learn more about Noise Media Network, visit noisemedia.us.